everybody? Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate the opportunity allowed to me today to be here. It's an honor for me. I haven't used a microphone in a long time, so excuse me if I get a little fainted or here and there. English is my second language, so please bear with me too. So I also want to thank the AeroClub of Pennsylvania Scholarship Award Committee for giving me the opportunity and the honor to be here tonight. It's definitely an honor. I want to also thank my family for being here, my wife, Lisa, my daughter, Lily, my mother, Triana, and my brother from another mother, Tom. Always here supporting me no matter what. So during my presentation, I would like to talk to you guys about, I want to show you how I came from very humble beginnings to achieve not only one, but two successful careers in aviation, which is something I dream of, but I didn't thought it was going to be possible. Before I start this presentation, I would like to ask you guys a question. How do you guys know when there's a pilot in the room?
God. I'll tell you that's all.
Thank God. Because they will tell you, and I'm not the exception. I'm going to tell you I'm a pilot too. So I'm going to start here now. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about myself. As Steve said, my name is Abel Leon. I'm a four-time Aviation Scholarship Award recipient. I'm also an aircraft maintenance technician for American Airlines in Philadelphia International Airport. I am a commercial pilot with instrument rating and a certified flight instructor. If I leave it there, you guys may think, oh, just a boring story about a pilot, you know? But hang tight, maybe you will like this. A little bit about my background. I am from a small area from the Dominican Republic called Mandinga, Santo Domingo. So I was born over there in 1996. I come from a modest family of 6. I am the oldest of 4 siblings. My father was a GSC mechanic, ground support equipment mechanic for American Airlines in Las Americas International Airport. One of the coolest things about being an airline employee is that we enjoy what's called flight benefits. Maybe some of you guys know about that. Pretty much we literally fly literally for free within the airline network. And in 1995, I had the privilege actually to use those benefits. My father took me to actually New York in American Airlines. And I remember just like today, it was a brand new MD-11 aircraft. I remember that because it had the 3 engine, the one over there at the tail. And I was so thrilled about it because guess what? I sit on first class. Mind you, I just told you, I come from a very modest family, you know, poor, low income level, but I'm sitting on first class here. How is that possible? Well, thank God my father worked for American Airlines. And I think that created such a positive impact on myself, just like sitting there on first class, because I was like there looking at the seat. I remember it was like electric recline, and he has a leg rest. And I have a good-looking flight attendant coming every 5 minutes. Hey, sir, do you want something to drink? Do you want some more peanuts? And I was like, whoa, man, I'm enjoying this. I can get used to this. So I am enjoying the flight, and I'm telling my dad, wow, I really enjoy this. This is very cool. And I asked him, at the end of the flight, do you think it's possible I can go meet the pilots? And he said, let me ask the flight attendants. So the flight attendant asked the pilots, and they said, sure. At the end of the flight, I was only 9 years old. The pilot, they took us to the cockpit, and we got to talk to the pilots. And I remember going in there and looking at the cockpit and all the lights and all the switches. I thought I was on a spaceship. And I wanted to tell the pilot, you know what? When I grow up, I want to be like you. I want to be a pilot. Well, the problem is I didn't know how to speak English. So I had to wait for the flight attendant to finish his deboarding, so I can ask him to please translate. I say, please tell the pilot, when I grow up, I would like to become a pilot. And the pilot remember said, good for you, go for it, you can do it. So now, sure, I want to become a pilot. Yeah, that's a great idea, good. But here's the problem, how do I do that? When I come from a third world country where the income level is only an average of $750 a month per household, and on 2003, after I finished flight school, after I finished high school, I went to a flight school in the Dominican Republic. And I went to inquire, well, yeah, I would like to become a pilot. Tell me about your program. I was blown out of my mind when they told me the prices. So I'm like, when that lady told me, okay, so 1 hour, $150 an hour. I'm like, whoa, that's right there, a third of my household income right there going in 1 hour. So I literally had to understand that I had to literally put that drink kind of put it in storage, kind of in a way. It was like, well, maybe this is not for me. So in 2005, I decided that I was going to go to college, and I decided to enroll in an electronic engineering degree at one of the prestigious universities over there in the Dominican Republic. Everything was doing well. I was already in my second year, but due to economic hardship, my parents couldn't afford for me to go to school anymore. They couldn't pay, and they come to me and tell me, listen, son, we want to be honest with you, but this is kind of taking too much for, it's getting unsustainable for us, so you're going to have to stop for a little bit. At that time, I had no choice but to start looking for some alternatives to fund my education. I started looking for jobs, maybe scholarships, but unfortunately I couldn't find nothing. And I was looking at my future, and I was like, that's when I decided to take a radical decision. I was in the Dominican Republic, I was 20 years old, and I told my parents, I decided that I want to start a new life in the United States, by myself. I took a radical decision on my parents. My mom is here. We're very skeptical. Think about it, a 20-year-old kid starting a new life in a country that at that time, I couldn't have a conversation with anybody because I didn't know English yet. So they were very skeptical, but they trust me. I told them to trust me that I was going to do something with this sacrifice. So anyway, I managed to put together $500. I had some savings, and my parents gave me some. So put together, I put $500. And in 2007, I took the leap of faith, and I came to America to start a brand new life by myself with no family and just a few friends. So when I came to the United States, at the beginning, I just had to survive. I just had to find whatever I could find. I started working like construction worker. I did house painting, fast food. I remember I worked at Chick-fil-A for a little bit. And then I settled to become a pizza delivery guy. We're talking now about year 2009. And I remember my dad telling me back then that he felt a little bit guilty because he felt like he wanted something better for me to do in life rather than just settling up for a pizza delivery guy. I told him at that time, I promise you that this is not the end of my story. This is barely just the beginning. For God's sake, I'm only 21 years old, man. Give me a break. No, so kidding aside, but I promised my dad, listen, I really thank you so much for everything you have done for me, and you did your best, but I promise you, give me a chance, I will do better. So, but of course I didn't know how to. That's the problem. Here's the thing. I didn't know how to because remember, I'm not from here. So while I was working at Domino's Pizza one night and I was closing the store, I remember thinking like, man, I'm already 2 years here. I'm thinking like my life is over. Like this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And I told the supervisor back then, I said, man, I didn't come to this country for this, definitely. I need to find what is it that I'm going to do because I want to do something better for myself. And he asked me, what is it that you want to do with life? I said, I always wanted to become a pilot, but I mean, that dream is out of reach right now because, I only make $6 an hour, man. Flying is expensive. There's no way I can achieve this. He told me, I remember just like today, that's one conversation that changed my life forever, and I will never forget that. He told me, but how about becoming a mechanic? And I said, wow. You know what? I never thought about that, but that sounds pretty cool too. So I asked him, so how do I do that? And he talked to me about this mechanic school in the Northeast Philadelphia. And we're talking now year 2010. And I asked him, where is it? So I went over there to find out. I finally went to the school and they told me about their program. I was like very, very excited because I'm like, wow, yes, this sounds very good. This is actually something that is going to lead me to what I wanted to do in life. But here's the problem. When I go ask the lady, how much does it cost? She told me it's going to cost me $40,000.
Oh my.
And I was like, wow, man. Here I am thinking, I'm like, I make $6 an hour. If I save enough for the next 10 years, maybe I can afford that. So Okay, well, I'm leaving. Have you guys ever been do you guys know what window shopping is? So, window shopping is when you go up to a place that you want to get something, but you know you cannot afford it. But you're like just going over there just because you want to see it. Well, that was me. I'm thinking like, I'm done. I'm like, okay, I'm going back home. Thank you so much. So as I'm coming back, the lady is asking me, why are you leaving? Why don't you start next week? I said, lady, I cannot afford this. I said, no, you don't have to worry about that. No, you're going to have to get something called student loan. I'm like, what is that? A student loan. Yes, you sign up for this deal and you come to school and then once you graduate, you just pay as you go later on. I was like, wow. In my country, there's no such a thing. That's why it was shocking for me because, like I said, I had to quit going to college over there because we didn't have the funds. But now this blew my mind. I said, sure, let's do it. So I started going to school in February of 2010 to the Aviation Institute of Maintenance. In the meantime, everything was going great at school. Right at 2012, I got a job at US Airways as a baggage handler because I felt that was the easiest way for me to get my foot in the door, to get to know people inside, maybe so when I get my license, then it will be probably an easy transition for me, and it worked to my advantage. So because in June of 2012, I finished the program, and in March of 2013, I got my first A&P job at Air Wisconsin, working on the CRJ 200s. Well, that sounded much better than pizza delivery, right? So, anyway, now, in October of 2013, I was hired by US Airways as a aviation maintenance technician or aircraft mechanic. And then 12 years later, American Airlines merged with US Airways in 2015. And the irony of this is that it's the same company that my father worked when I was just a kid. But I didn't plan this, I'll tell you that. When I came in 2007, I didn't say, I'm gonna be a mechanic for American Airlines in 2013. That wasn't planned. So that was the will of God. Now, at that point, I felt that I did fulfill my promise to my dad, that I was gonna do something better with my life, and that he will be very proud. Unfortunately, my father passed away in 2009, and he was not able to see that. But I'm very sure that wherever he is right now, he's very proud of me.
Amen.
So it's been a great career for me so far. I love being an aircraft mechanic. I'm just going to show you this picture. Here I am working on this Trent 700 engine. It's on an Airbus A330 aircraft. We used to have the 330s, but they're retired now, unfortunately. But it's been a great career for me. I love it. I love the challenge that it presents to me. I have gone to many destinations worldwide to fix aircraft for American Airlines. I have been as far as Madrid, Spain, to fix an airplane, to many destinations domestically here in the United States, Canada, and it's great, a great feeling. So I am very happy to see that there's so many recipients here that are. So I heard some of these recipients are going into the maintenance program, and I tell you, this is a great career. Keep pushing forward. You're gonna be very happy with yourself. You're gonna be very satisfied. I am definitely very satisfied with my career. And but here's the thing. What about my dream to become a pilot? Okay, so let's go back to that point. Well, talking about how I get sent to these road trips or these field trips. In 2015, I was assigned to go to Newfoundland, Canada, to go rescue an A330 that was stuck over there because he had to do an emergency landing. And we had to send a new airplane over there. So from Philadelphia to Canada, it was pretty much just employees, and the pilots left the door open. And they said, hey, if anybody wants to come, more than welcome. So I'm like, oh, that sounds like, ding ding, that sounds like me. So I took a picture of that flight. I remember that day. That was in 2015 in the summer. And I remember, just like today, how surprised, not surprised, but how amazed I was at the professionalism I saw in that cockpit, how the pilots were talking amongst each other, how they did their flight planning, how they were talking to the tower. And I had that like fire again, like, man, this is what I remember when I was a kid. This is why actually I wanted to become a pilot. But I'm like, wow, I actually want to do this again. So I was impressed with all of that. But the thing is, well, too bad this is so expensive. My dream this dream is so impossible for me.
Again.
Maybe some of you guys cannot read this, but I put this, or was it? Well, a friend of mine in 2016 took me on a ride on Doylestown. We went to Doylestown and he rented an Arrow over there. And it was my first time ever flying on a small aircraft. And I was very, very, very impressed with that because I never been on a small airplane. And I got hooked right from the beginning because it was like a new experience for me. I never been on a small airplane, like the flexibility to go to Doylestown to Winsfield. I mean, you cannot do that on an airliner. And I'm like, wow, that's very cool. I like that. So on April of 2017, I didn't have no more time to waste. I'm like, well, that's it. I'm going to take the leap of faith and I'm going to start taking flight lessons. Difference is that this time I can pay for them. So I joined something called, well, let me say this. I met a very interesting guy in Philadelphia one time. His name is Bob Stanford. And I joined his club. His club is RTFB. Maybe we can ask over there Captain Bruce Thompson what that means, but we'll leave it for another time. I think it meant read the flying book. I think that's what it means, but we'll leave it at that. This was my companion for over a month, for over a year. I was carrying that book everywhere I was going, just reading and reading and reading and reading and just eating that book.
Eating the book.
On August of 2017, I did my first solo flight. And my family was there to support me. That's why they're always there for me, and I am always very thankful for it. In September of 2017, I felt so committed to my flying that I took a radical move. I figured, well, if you're so committed to flying, instead of renting an airplane, and you're going to be paying anyways, why don't you just buy a plane and use it for your training? Anyways, you're still going to be paying anyway, so might as well pay something that is for yourself. So I did. So the leap of faith again, and put all my eggs in one basket. And I went ahead and did the purchase of one airplane so I can use it for my private instrument, commercial, CFI, and CFII. And thankfully, it worked out for my advantage. So that's where, and on 2018, I obtained my private pilot certificate. That was the same year that I obtained my first scholarship award right here in the AeroClub, which I'm very thankful for because, as you notice, since I bought this airplane, my funds were depleted. So you guys came in to save me. So thank you so much. So, like I mentioned, ever since then, I was able to manage to obtain my instrument rating, commercial pilot certificate, certified flight instructor, multi-engine rating, and certified flight instructor. And guess what? The kid that couldn't afford flight training did all of this and has zero debt today.
Amen.
So what's next for me? Well, full circle comes around. So thankfully, I never quit. Yes, there's going to be a lot of setbacks and a lot of things, but I never quit. I kept pushing forward. So what's next for me? Very recently, I accepted an offer to become a cadet pilot for Piedmont Airlines. Piedmont flies the Embraer E-145 for the regional destinations on behalf of American Airlines. Again, the same company I work for right now. And Piedmont and the union just signed up a contract offering the pilots an industry-leading contract, making them the highest paid regional pilots in the industry. And I am very excited for that. So, guess what? My childhood dream now looks much closer to our reality. All I need to do now is finish my 1,500 hours, get another 15 hours of multi-engine time, boom.
There you are.
So, of course, I wouldn't have been able to, this story sounds very good and everything, but I have to recognize that I wouldn't have been able to do this by myself. Throughout my journey, I have very good people, like I would like to mention my flying mentor, Captain Bob Stanford, who made a difference from before and after. He was the person that was there to push me when I needed that moment of motivation. He was the one actually that introduced me to the AeroClub of Pennsylvania Scholarship Awards. And I am very thankful for all his support. Unfortunately, he couldn't come here tonight, but I am very thankful for his support. Throughout this journey, I have met so many incredible, awesome people that are so selfless and eager to help the younger generation achieve their goals, like you guys. But I also want to mention Captain Bruce Thompson here, who encouraged me to apply to the AeroClub of Pennsylvania Scholarship Award last year, which awarded me $3,000, which I used to complete my multi-engine rating, and I am very thankful for. as a little note over here, put over here. That's him right here, and that's me. As my surprise, last year I went to Punta Cana, and he happened to be their pilot over there. That took me there. That was no plan. I was like, I think I know that person over there in front. So I knock on the door. I asked the flight attendant first, and I knock on the door, and here he is. And I tell you, it pays to know the captain, okay? So that's good. Of course, I'll have to say this also to say thanks. I wouldn't have been able to do this without my beautiful wife, her support throughout all of these years. It's been 5 years since I started my flight training. And throughout that time, I have kept a full-time job. I have worked a ton of overtime. I even drove for Uber just to make it through, just to make my dream a reality. That meant that I spent a lot of time off from home. Dedication. And she has been there to support me. And she keeps on doing. And I am very thankful for her for sacrificing the time that I had not spent at home so the family can keep together. And now that I'm becoming a pilot, I am, very even more thankful that she is going to understand that I'm going to be at home away for a little bit. So some people will say that I'm trying to get points here, but no, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to be honest here. Okay, so all of that being said, what am I doing with this? Well, because I'm so thankful for my journey and how blessed I have been with so many people help me along my journey, I am wanting to pay that forward. I have many stories that I can say of people that have been impacted by my testimony, but because of time, I'm only going to use my student here, Laura. She's a very hardworking young woman that I have met, and I'm very happy to have helped so far. I talked to her about the aviation maintenance school program, which I'm very happy that she followed through and rolled into it. And even though she still does that full-time and has a full-time job, on her spare time, we are working together for her to achieve her private pilot license. And I am willing to help people like that because in her, I see who I was back in the day when I needed the help and the guidance, when I didn't know I knew what I wanted to achieve, but I didn't know how to get there. And I'm willing to share that with anybody that wants to just need that help. And that's why I encourage all of these young recipients that when there's a will, there's a way. If I came from nothing, from literally zero, you guys can achieve everything. Anything you put your mind into, you just have to do the effort. So in conclusion, I would like to say to the AeroClub of Pennsylvania that I would like to thank you guys for your generosity, for the generosity of your donors, for the hard work you guys put into doing these programs and the hard work and determination. Because I'm pretty sure that this takes a lot of work. And I want to encourage you to keep on doing that hard work and enthusiasm because this program is already creating a positive impact in the lives of so many people. And I am a living example of this. Your legacy will live through generations by the people impacted by your generosity. I am very happy to read the names of the people that these scholarship awards are named onto because it's like their legacy is still alive with us, That's very, very important. And to the awardees in final thoughts, I would like to tell them that aviation training is going to require a lot of passion, self-determination, and motivation. And there will be a lot of setbacks that will come along your way and your journey. Thank you, helicopter. All right, I gotta keep on going. So, it's okay, this is a live show. So, there will be a lot of setbacks that will come along your way in your journey, but none of these things can make you forget what is your ultimate goal. Why are you doing this in the first place? To me, this was it. I want to do this. And until I get there, I'm not going to stop. I haven't get there yet, but I'm getting there. And until I don't get there, I'm not going to stop. So what is yours? That's your answer to, that's for you to answer. And that concludes my presentation. I hope you enjoy my story.
Woo! Good job, Carzo.